This happened about 11 days ago, I believe. It happened 11 days ago. There was a train derailment in Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio, and it was carrying extremely toxic chemicals, and it flipped over and it started leaking out. The authorities evacuated the area, and rather than just cleaning it up like any other derailment that they would, they chose to burn the toxic chemicals. So this is a situation of the train didn't fall over and then it exploded and became raging on its own. No, this was a thing where the authorities actively chose to do this. Now, keep in mind, when this happened, and I'm just going to throw it out there, when this happened, everybody was watching the balloon. They were watching the balloon. And I kind of put a little thing in my Telegram when everybody was focused on the balloon. I said, while everybody's watching the balloon, who's watching what's going on underneath the balloon? And this is exactly what I've been talking about. The balloon stuff is a distraction, and they've increased all these flying things all over the US and Canada, and they're saying South America now, and apparently China's claiming and stuff. Everybody's talking about that stuff. And we've got a lot of things that is going on, a lot of things that are going on that aren't being discussed. They're not being talked about. The mainstream media has not even talked about this. Some of the local people have, and CNN put out like one or two things, but nobody's really talking about this. Of course, the White House has said nothing about it. They continue to just talk about, hey, aliens, which we know aliens don't exist. The Bible does not support aliens. They support demons, or it supports demons. But this is the distraction stuff, where they want you to focus on things like a balloon, which, in case you didn't know, that Chinese balloon that they shot down was actually Western parts written in English. And back in 2019, the Pentagon announced that they were going to be doing balloon surveillance on domestic population. So something to keep in mind there. But absolutely nothing being talked about on this thing, and it could affect a lot of people. Now, one of the chemicals, if you want to know what the payload is on this thing, one of the chemicals is polyvinyl chloride, which is used to make plastics. Now, polyvinyl chloride, if it comes in contact with humans, it can cause rare liver cancer, hepatic angiosarcoma, a primary liver cancer, hepatocellular carcinoma. Good luck with trying. Yeah, sorry. And then it can also cause brain and lung cancers, lymphoma, and leukemia. That's what this thing can cause. That was the main payload on there, but there were other chemicals on the train as well that include ethylene glycol monobutyl, ethylhexyl acrylic, isobutylene, and butyl acrylic. And all this stuff can cause serious damage to the human body. Like I said, they're calling this event Chernobyl, Ohio. And again, mainstream media, White House, nobody is covering it. Nobody's talking about it or anything like that. So much so that when the event first took place, several reporters and journalists were beaten and or arrested by police for trying to obtain information, whether filming, taking pictures, asking questions. They were beaten back when this happened. Now, this is where it gets really significant. All animal life in the area, fish and wildlife, birds, all of them in that area, dead. Not dying, not became sick, all of them dead. So it's killing the animal life. And we're even getting reports, there's videos of people who have farmland 10, I think even 20 miles away. Their chickens, they're dead. They started walking slow and then they died. I'm seeing some cows have been getting sick as well. They're not dead. These are further away, but they're feeling the effects. They're probably going to die. I've seen several people who have been interviewed who have returned back because only after 10 days of burning this stuff, they allowed people to go back, where people are saying they're getting massive headaches, they're feeling lethargic, and they're leaving again. They're choosing to leave the area because they believe this stuff is damaging them. Now, as far as fish and wildlife, that's next to water, they're being reported dead up to 100 miles away. 100 miles away. Wildlife that is around the river system are being reported dead. The water is also connected to the Metro Pittsburgh waterways, to the Louisiana River, and they're saying that it can start, as far as farmland and everything like that, crops and everything are going to start getting poisoned by this stuff. Contamination of the Ohio River as far as West Virginia is possible. You're talking about 5 million people being affected for drinking water, but you have to remember production plants also draw water from river systems, and you're talking about over 30 million people that could be affected by the production plants with what they're doing with food or anything else that they provide. 30 million. Yeah, and as of now, we've got water utility companies across state lines are beginning to take precautions due to health concerns. They're trying to figure out how they can start protecting their own states and water systems because of what's going on. As far as wind factor, because that's the water, as far as wind factor, you can look up pictures of today. So 11 days after the burning, it's still black skies over Ohio. But as far as wind factor, you're also talking about toxic air getting pushed over all of Lake Erie and as far as up into Ontario, Canada. So you're even talking about this getting into Canada at this point. The overall cloud radius of the toxins is over 200 miles large and hitting so far over 190 counties. As far as 190 counties. What's also interesting is that in 2022, now this is maybe we talk about predictive programming. We talk about desensitization. I cannot say that word. Desensitizing people. But in 2022, a movie called White Noise came out, and it's based on a 1985 novel of the same name. This movie features a train crash that had chemicals involved, and people had to evacuate the area because of the toxic air that was in the air. What's very interesting is that train crash for the movie took place in Ohio, the same state that this had. So if you want to read into that, wouldn't be the first event that a movie has portrayed that has come true. Just saying, it happens all the time. But we're talking about toxic air. We're talking about poisoned water. We're talking about people talking about food shortages. Well, if you want food shortages, let's poison and contaminate the water that's most of the farmland, because this is all in that area where it's pretty much all farmland that surrounds these rivers and whatnot. And so this could cause food shortages. This could cause food shortages. So definitely something to pay attention as far as that goes. So that's what I've got on that so far. There's a whole bunch of information that's coming out. Be thankful for independent journalists, because they're the only ones that are covering this, and that includes the ones that were already beaten and thrown in jail because of trying to get some answers on this. So yeah, this is an event that could, I'm not saying it will, but this is an event that could, it literally could cause the final downfall for this country. It could destroy that much food. It could destroy that much wildlife. It could kill a lot of people, shut off a lot of waterways. It could take down this country. So this is definitely something as far as that goes. I looked up just in time to see it. Didn't the Houston derail? Yes. There was 2 more last night. One was in South Carolina, which was just rock and gravel and whatnot. But then there was one in Houston as well that was chemicals. But they chose to do the smart thing, and they're doing a normal toxin cleanup. They're not actively burning it. So that's what's going on with that. Chernobyl, Ohio. As stuff comes in, I'll definitely continue to update you guys in Telegram as much as I can. I'm just one man, but I will do the best I can on keeping you guys updated on that. So